Venezuelans become visible in the country, and San Andres was no exception. 6 Venezuelans received the permit for temporary protection on the island. Information provided by Sylvette Mitchell from the central sector of the island.
Hello, Lisa. Good afternoon, and the teleaudience. This is a very important information for the community and the Venezuelan migrants here in the department. 6 Venezuelan migrants who completed their process in the temporary status for Venezuelan migrants received their permit for temporary protection in the island. This was made known by Migración Colombia in the department. According to the regional leader of this entity, there are 32 enrollment in the organization. Of these 32 enrollment, 8 Venezuelans reside on the island. The rest reside in other cities of the country. And of the 8 of them, 6 have completed their process in the statute and received their permit for the temporary protection. It should be clarified that this temporary protection permit, which will be granted for 10 years, will allow its beneficiary not only to be regularly within the national territory, but also to carry out different activities such as opening bank accounts, studies, joining the system's social security, and even work, among others, of course complying with the requirement established by the competent authorities or entities in each case. The entity also calls on the community and motivate the immigrants here in the island, Venezuela, to attend to Migración Colombia and define their situation on the island territory.
With about 39 days to the elections of Congress to the Republic, councils continue for the follow-up to this event to be held on March 13 this year. During the meeting this morning, details on the logistics and security they will need were discussed. Sylvette Mitchell gives us more details.
Well, Lisa, continue with more news during the morning. Issues around the logistics and the security that will be needed for this 13th of March, day of the election for the Congress of the Republic, was discussed in presence of the relevant entities and institutions so that this activity is carried out in the best way. The Secretary of Government, Kayan Howard, gave details of what was the council.
Ya tenemos la presencia de la delegada del Registrador Nacional, la doctora Granado.
We already have the presence of the delegate of the National Registry, Dr. Granados, who made a presentation of the requirements and logistics for the elections. We are fine-tuning all the details so that this election day will be a success, so that democracy will prevail, especially in this department. We also had intervention of the police, who will also provide support along with the army, who are always ready to support us. We are already fine-tuning the last details. Soon on Saturday, we will be carrying out a simulation to see what details need to be improved, taking into account that this is the first day of massive elections in the pandemic.
Inicialmente, hacer los procedimientos previos con la Registraduría Nacional, haber inscrito su cédula, tener...
Initially, to do the previous procedures with the National Registry, to have registered your identification card, to have in mind which is going to be your voting table, which is going to be your voting post, to carry your identification document always at hand, either physical or digital. In the same way, we as police are here to accompany you in this process.
Okay, so among the information and the data collected in this meeting, they are expecting 47,116 San Andres voters and 4,375 Providence voters. They identified 7 polling stations in San Andres and 1 polling station in all Providence. 6 lists was registered to the camera. The voting jurors lottery will be in San Andres the 9th of February, and in Old Providence the 11th of February. And this Saturday, 5th of February, there will be the simulation of the election day. This is all information. Lisa, Sylvette Mitchell Archibald for Teleislas News.
Thank you, Sylvette. And given the high rate of road accidents that occurred in the department during 2021, the Secretariat of Mobility will carry out intervention work on some streets and areas of the island.
The Secretariat of Mobility will intervene 10 points of the island where there is a higher incidence of road accidents. The head of this portfolio, Luis Torres James, explained the intervention work to be carried out.
We are addressing 10 critical points of road accidents in the department, which will be intervened with vertical and horizontal signaling works. We will intervene in the road infrastructure. We will intervene with sidewalks and speed bumps with the points already identified.
The Mobility Secretariat specifies some of the 10 points and the specific intervention to be carried out.
Esta intervención
This intervention will go from the Air Force towards Gino Pizza or the Portofino pump. And this road will be intervened with all these aspects. There will be a reduction of the roadway in that direction. In direction to the airport, we will reach the Juan 23 intersection to the Kai. All this roadway will be intervened. We will also intervene the Pinky Corner. We will intervene on the Sena sector up to the Mesquita.
The Secretariat of Mobility indicates that the intervention works will be carried out in March.
At this moment, we are in the stage of approval of the designs, which were socialized in different work tables. It seems to us very fair according to the needs of the department. We believe that as of March, we could start to agree on the start date to open these works in the department.
The departmental government invites agricultural producers and artisanal fishermen to register until February 4th at the Banco 2.
The Secretariat of Agriculture and Fisheries, Randy Rodolfo Manuel Henry, reminds agricultural producers and artisanal fishermen that Banco 2, a program of payment for environmental services of the Corporation for the Sustainable Management of Forests that encourages the conservation of forests, water resources, and biodiversity in Columbia regions, is still open until February 4th, 2022.
We're extending this moment to agriculture and fishermen. Why are we doing this? This is our strategy of our developed plan. And this strategy is to look out for our agriculture, showing a campaign that we doing a campaign with Mas Bosques and the agriculture, the Secretary of Agriculture and the administration to represent us to planting. We know that Iota, ETA had devastated plenty of our fruit trees. So we're looking this effort to our own agriculture and our own fishermen do this effort in our island.
The Secretary informs that this will not be a subsidy but a payment for their services.
We have done not a subsidy, we have do something ambiental. We're looking for a pay that will be ambiental paying, not a subsidy. If we subside, really is not to give out something from the administration, is to develop our work and we will pay for that service.
It should be noted that you must belong to an association. If not, you must submit an affidavit by virtue of your function as an independent fisherman. Interested parties may register at the offices of the Secretariat of Culture and Fisheries. In Old Providence, they may go to the Secretariat of Agriculture located in the Municipal Major's office.
And in other news, the new presidents of the Community Action Boards, who will have the task of ensuring compliance of projects in each neighborhood of the island territory, are sworn in.
Por supuesto que desde FECODE y la CUD estamos de acuerdo con la presencialidad.
FECODE and the CUD are in agreement with the return of in-person classes as long as the institutions comply with a minimum of biosecurity requirements. The institutions must have batteries of bathrooms, must have alcohol, masks, and of course, they should have a complete vaccination plan to avoid the spread of the disease. In these conditions, there is a favorable environment for in-person classes. Meanwhile, it will be very complicated to move forward in this issue.
On the other hand, the president of Asisapinor Department gave his perspective of how he sees the return of in-person classes in the department.
Lo que ha transcurrido en estos momentos de estas 2 semanas con relación a la presencialidad.
What has happened in these 2 weeks in relation to the in-person classes is serious. The number of students is overcrowded. There are up to 40 students per classroom. Even at Forest Hill, they are using the laboratories, the library, the bilingualism room, which are not classroom for classes, but are for specific classes. And outside of that, there are students who are outside on the court waiting for a classroom to be vacated so that they can enter. However, the Secretariat is sending students to these institutions that are already overcrowded. There is a lack of teachers. At Flores Hill, 7 teachers are needed. At Bolivariano, 4 teachers are needed. And the response from the Secretariat is that the guidelines of this ministry said that they are not going to appoint more. That what they have to do is to merge courses and take advantage of the personnel that they have.
The president of ASISAP calls on the necessity of of adapting the infrastructure in this context of in-person classes, as well as holding merit-based competition to solve the lack of teachers in the department schools.
And now let's get to know other facts that today are news in our brief news section.
Today, February the 2nd, the Mayor's Office of Old Providence will be conducting a vaccination campaign against COVID-19 at the Central Baptist Church from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The entity specifies that there is the availability of vaccines for first and second doses with Sinovac, Pfizer, and Moderna Biologics. At the Ruben Dario campus of the Antonia Santos Educational Institution, students received the illustrated story, The Dry Forest, written by Cristina Romero Rios, and its Creole version, which was translated by Javier Huxon. In the book, the children of the department found information about the fauna and flora of the islands, their threats, and the importance of preserving natural resources. This work was carried out as part of the scientific dissemination and social appropriation of the knowledge component of the Seaflower Plus 2021 expedition conducted in San Andres, Old Providence, and Santa Catalina. The Group of Tourism and Heritage Protection of the National Police conducted a prevention and control campaign in the regional park Johnny Key, where they provided information to visitors about the importance of preserving the fauna and flora found in the place. As part of the concert season of Bank of the Republic 2022, the San Andres Cultural Center invites the community to participate in a guitar recital by Andres Felipe Palacios. This Thursday, February 3rd at 6 p.m., this concert is part of the series Young Performers, which allows a cultural exchange with young people from other regions. Attendance to the event will have a value of 3,500 pesos.
And with this news, we reach to the end of our broadcast. See you tonight at 8 p.m. with more Teleislas news. Good afternoon.